From the headquarters of the Guild of Champions, this is the Becoming Thin podcast, and I am your host, Chris Terrell. And welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. How did this last week go for you, champion? What new challenges did you encounter? But more importantly, what failure did you go through, and what lesson did you get from that failure? Come on now. Don't let a perfectly good failure go by without you getting your lesson. That's your reward for your troubles, after all. Now, if you're new here, I lost 125 pounds myself after an entire adulthood of chronic yo-yo dieting. Up, down, up again. Before I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired and fat, and made some permanent, meaningful, and actual changes to my real-life lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and to my systems of belief. Because it's all 6 of those things that create the results of my life, and if I want to get new results, I'm going to have to go change those 6 things and sustain those changes that I made. And now I'm here each week to help people like you make the same permanent, meaningful, and lasting changes in your life so that you can get the results of becoming thin and staying thin. I don't want you to take a round trip ticket to Thinville. I want you to take a one-way trip ticket. I want you to pack your bags, move there, stay there, and not find your way back. I've done that before. I've lost the weight, stopped, got frustrated, and gained it back. And you know, it's funny, whenever I did that, I never said like I was successful. I very much felt like I failed, even though I felt like I was successful when I was thin, but then I felt like I failed because the goal was never to lose weight. Even though I wouldn't say that, the goal was never to lose weight. The goal actually was to become thin, which is why the name of the podcast is the Becoming Thin Podcast. It's not the Losing Weight Podcast. It's the Becoming Thin, because I want to help you lose weight. Lots of people go out and lose weight and gain it back. Losing weight doesn't mean anything. When you become a thin person, things have changed. To become a thin person, you must have lifestyle, habits, routines, environments, community, and belief systems that are incompatible with being overweight. If your lifestyle is incompatible with being overweight, you will not be overweight. If you are overweight, it is because your lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and belief systems are compatible with it. Now, I know some people are like, but Chris, what about all the physical conditions that come in? Yep, all those play a factor too. And it is your lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and belief systems. Yes, I keep saying that again and again. It is all of those things that are going to impact how you approach your body, how you're going to approach those factors that are contributing to your weight gain. Many people, they hit perimenopause and like, no, that's the reason. I'm like, no, it's not. It's your belief systems, it's your mind, it's your environment, it's your community, it's your lifestyle and habits and routines that you're bringing to this body that might be going through perimenopause, or this body that might have low testosterone for you dudes, or this body that might have PCOS or Hashimoto's or whatever condition that might be impacting how your body handles the energy that comes in and the energy that goes out. Now, today, we're going to talk about some weight loss basics, some weight loss 101. It's time to start gently drifting back into the weight loss basics land, because we all know what's coming soon here in about a month. Here in about a month, the New Year's resolutioners, new year, new me. Now, there's a lot of people out there already on a GLP-1, and you know what? They're not doing the new year, new me. They're already on them doing them, and that is okay. But what I know is it is normal for a person right about the time the holidays are over for them to decide it's time to buckle down, it's time to get serious, it's time to push forward, it's time to do more. And I think it's a good time of year to do that. And I sync up everything in the guild and everything in my programs to be helping people level up at the beginning of the year, because it's a good time of year to do it. I have my own goals that I'll be pushing for at the beginning of the year. I've already started with some of them, but there's going to be others that kick up then. Why? Because there's time to do it. So today we're going to talk weight loss basics, just some things that for many of you that are further into the journey, there's going to hopefully, everything I say today is just a refresher. You're like, yep, already know that. Hopefully that's what's going to happen. For some of you, there's going to be some things I say that you're like, I forgot about that. Wasn't thinking about that. And then there's going to be some of you where you're like, oh, wow, this is new to me. Now, we're not going to do the whole thing. If you join the guild, you're going to be given a link to this full presentation of Weight Loss 101, as well as you'll have access to the 500 hours of content in the guild that does not exist anywhere else but there, all designed to help you become thin. But before we jump into the podcast, which I'm about to do in just a second, I want to invite you to come join my free Facebook group. You can find that by going to Facebook, typing Becoming Thin in the search bar. You'll find a black background, yellow text. It'll probably be the only group. Go ahead and submit to join. We'd love to have you come be a member of that free, did I mention it was free, community there. Now, let's talk about Weight Loss 101. Some things you really got to know. You really got to think about if you're going to be on this journey. So the first thing, maybe one of the most important things you can do, and these don't have to, what we're going to talk about today, not necessarily in order. You got to do them all in the beginning. But this one right here, I think is truly, truly very, very important, and you must do it early. You must take responsibility for the lifestyle you're living because you're the one that created it. You're the one that created the lifestyle that you're living. Nobody, other people influenced it. Yes, your community played a role in the lifestyle that you have formulated. And yes, your community plays a role in keeping that lifestyle stable. But you are the one that created it because you're probably not a child anymore. Most of you are grown-ass adults. I see the analytics. Most of y'all are over the age of 40. If the life that you're living now, you created it. You could have created any lifestyle you wanted. You have been alive long enough to have gone down any path you wanted to have gone down. 20 years is a long time. 20 years is a long time. You can get a lot done in 20 years. So the lifestyle you're living, if you look in the mirror and you're not already losing, right? If you're on the gaining, you're on the up and up on the scale, your lifestyle is compatible. And you created that compatible lifestyle. That means you must create a new one. But if you look at the lifestyle you're living now, you did not create it overnight, did you? No, you did not. And you're not living version 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 50 of your lifestyle. You're living version 472.6 of your lifestyle. I don't know. But what I'm talking about is we're constantly evolving our lifestyles forward. We're constantly evolving and adapting our lifestyles based on new circumstances that happen. People in our community come and go. Our environment changes and adapts. Our own body changes and adapts. Our preferences change and adapt. Our belief systems shift and change, which then ripple from there into shifting our lifestyle. And you, I know, want to become thin. You want to become a thin person, which means you must adopt a lifestyle that is compatible with being a thin person. We typically call these diets. We typically call these weight loss. Now, I use the word diet. Diet is not necessarily a bad word, but because if we just look at the technical definition of it, it's perfectly fine. But for many folks, when we say diet, if I say you're going to go on a diet, what does that mean to you? Many people are going to say like, well, that means restriction. That means not getting to have my favorite foods. That means constantly being super hungry. That means eating a bunch of foods I don't really like. It means eating really healthy. But okay, yeah, all right. I could see why it means that. And for me, in a lot of my life, it meant that too. But you could also think of a diet in a much more simple way. It is just what you're going to eat. What is in your diet? If we look at all the foods you eat over a month, that's your diet. You're always eating to a diet, right? And that's where, the phrase isn't really necessarily helpful because people that are trying to gain weight go on a diet, right? A prescribed plan. And so the better way to look at it is to say, I'm not going to go on a diet. I'm going to lose weight as I become thin. The weight loss is the project that one needs to undergo because they have too much weight on their body. If the person did not have all the excess weight on their body, they would not need to undergo a weight loss project. And the extra weight on the person's frame that they want to get off is there because of the lifestyle that the person has not chosen to change and get rid of. The lifestyle has remained intact. And so that means you must change your regular life, because if your regular life over the course of a year results in you gaining weight, there's a problem with that lifestyle. Now, one of the things that's interesting with the lifestyle, for a lot of people, the lifestyle actually includes going on restrictive diets. So we got to zoom out and look at the pattern here to understand how diets fit in with weight gain. So a person is living their default lifestyle, whatever that is, right? Just think of your before times when you didn't give a shit. You weren't trying to lose weight at all. You weren't trying to do anything. You were just living your best life, right? Just operating off, eating off of vibes, eating off of whatever your habits were, your routines, the way your people around you did food. You were not trying to lose weight. You weren't even thinking about it on a consistent basis. Sure, you might think about it here and there, but it wasn't like I'm actively losing weight. I'm talking about that time of life. A person's living that life, and what happens? They're gaining weight because that lifestyle results in weight gain. And then they eventually have their, what I call their oh shit moment. Something happens that causes the person to go, oh shit, I've gained a lot of weight. I need to deal with this, right? There's a trigger. Something triggers that oh shit moment. Sometimes it's a number on a scale, right? You get on a scale, you see like a 3 in front of you, like, oh damn, I said I'd never have a 3 in front of my weight, all the way up to 100 pounds of 200. And you're like, oh, I got to do something about this. Maybe it's a size clothing, right? You get to this time of year, you're dusting off your winter clothes and you're putting them on. You're like, they shrunk. They all shrunk in the attic. Oh, maybe I got bigger. And you're like, oh shit, I think I need to lose some weight, right? Or maybe one of my favorites that happened to me, a toddler walks up, points to my belly and goes in front of everybody at a swimming pool and with my family around going, why does your belly stick out so much? It's like, oh my gosh, can't get mad at her. She's 2, but oh shit, I'm so big a toddler felt the need to point it out and ask a question about it because it was so bizarre. So a person goes like, I got to go on a diet. What they really mean is I need to massively restrict and solve this weight gaining problem when? Right now. I need to solve this right now. I'm fat now. I don't want to be fat now. I want to be not fat right now. I know I can't change that, but maybe I can do it really fast. What is the absolute fastest way I can get the weight off my body? So a person goes on a restrictive diet. And then what happens? Because it's super restrictive and super unsustainable, the person eventually gets frustrated. They get frustrated with it. They get annoyed with it. Whatever, something happens. They get into a situation where their diet doesn't work. Like they're on keto and then they're traveling and realizing I can't eat and have enough food and stick to this keto bullcrap. And so what do? They stop the diet. And then they go back to their default lifestyle that created weight gain. You see, but people tend to focus on the default lifestyle, forgetting that entire pattern of default lifestyle, weight gain, oh shit, restriction, solve everything now, diet, frustration, stop diet, back to default lifestyle, gain weight, oh shit, restriction, solve everything right now, diet, frustration, stop diet. It's just a cycle that keeps repeating. And a person literally zigzags their way up and up and up and up and up and up and up, even though they've lost weight within that. Because restrictive dieting becomes a part of a person's lifestyle. A part of the weight loss, the way I like to teach it, is we actually stop with this restrictive dieting because that is a part of the problem that was contributing to it. We have to get rid of that. Your actual life, including restrictive dieting, is the problem. Now, let me give another example, though, of a lifestyle change that a person would need to make if they want to become thin and leave behind the life of being fat. Many people, when they begin their journey, if they begin to look at their lifestyle, they will notice a trend. They will notice that they are living a chair to chair to chair to chair lifestyle. Many who struggle with their weight, if you were to watch them and put a camera and have a camera, just follow them around. You don't get to know their thoughts. You just look at their behaviors. You would notice that many people who are very large wake up. Of course, you're not moving. You're sitting or laying in your bed, and they get up and they relocate to a chair. I literally sat in the shower. I would relocate from my bed to the shower to sit in a chair where I would shower sitting down. And then I would relocate to a chair in the dining room so I could have breakfast or whatever I'm going to do. And then I would relocate to the chair in my vehicle where I would drive that chair all the way to McDonald's drive-thru to get food handed to me in my chair, where I would then drive all the way to the office to relocate to another chair. It would not be unusual for me to push myself across the office to another cube or two down in my chair. In my chair. I literally would not leave the chair sometimes. I would just push the chair because it's on wheels. And then I would relocate from that chair to my other chair in my vehicle and drive that chair to the restaurant, where I would relocate from that chair to the chair in the restaurant, where I would enjoy my food till I relocated back to the chair in my vehicle and drove that chair back to the office. Then I finished work in a chair, and then I come home. And what do? More sitting. I'm only moving enough to get myself to another chair, or if I have to do an errand or something. And if I was doing errands, it wasn't unusual for me to take breaks and sit down along the way. So this is an example where this has nothing to do with your damn genetics. This has nothing to do with you going through you have PCOS, you're going through perimenopause, or you have low testosterone, or you're depressed. It has nothing to do with any of that. You're just sitting in chairs all the time, and your lifestyle is that you sit in chairs. And most people, they're like, no, it's my perimenopause. I'm like, all right, let's zoom out before you went into perimenopause. Were you living that chair to chair to chair to chair lifestyle? Well, maybe not quite as much. Okay. But you were doing it, and let's put a trend line. Were you increasing the amount of sitting in your life over time, or were you decreasing the amount of sitting in your life over time? Oh, well, if we trend it backwards, it looks like I've been increasing the amount of sitting in my life over time. Yep, that's normal. As you get bigger, it becomes harder to navigate and move around the world. So what do we then do? Our body literally incentivizes us and encourages us to sit more. It makes it easier. Look, if I had 125 pounds strapped to my body every time I had to get up to go do something, if I just needed to get up to go grab something in the other room real quick, I might seriously reconsider if I needed to do it until I needed to get 3 or 4 things. Because I'm like, I got to get up with 125 pounds strapped to my body and go move around. That sounds like a lot of work. I get it. That was my life. I was a big boy. I was heavy. It took a lot of weight. I mean, it was a lot of energy to move my body around. This is a lifestyle that must shift. This is a lifestyle that must shift. Look, I have seen people do jobs in the real world that do not require sitting. I've watched people, I don't want to give specific examples. No, I'm not going to do that, but I want to. There are 3 in the last week where I just was watching the person and I was like, wow, you are going to great lengths to avoid moving. One person even was asking other people to get things that this person totally could have gotten, but it's just the person didn't want to get up out of their chair. I watched another person needed to get something in a office setting, we'll say. I'm going to be very, very vague with it. And I just observed that this person, rather than walking to go get it, they pushed their chair. And it was just a little bit too far. I'm like, that would have been faster to walk, but maybe not when you're as big as that person was. That's what I used to do. Like, I'm spotting this because I like to call attention to my mind of like, that's what I used to do. That's the lifestyle I left behind. I am not going back to that lifestyle. I don't push my chair around a room unless I'm just wanting to have fun. I mean, sometimes it's fun just to push a chair around a room like, whee. Like sometimes I do that, sure. But that's not the same. That's not what I was seeing here. This wasn't the person going, whee. No, this was the person like, and they're just pushing themselves across just like I used to do. So a person must change this. Now, unfortunately, if you were to ask a person just to change this overnight, that would be very difficult because they're big, they're heavy. It takes a lot of effort and energy to move. And so a person needs to gradually shift this away, which kind of stinks, right? I mean, that's how it was for me. I could not handle the volume of movement I do now that I did 7 years ago. Like if I just jumped to what I'm doing now, I wouldn't have been able to do it. My body wouldn't have been able to hold up to it. It just would not have been able to hold up to that amount of movement. And so another thing that's really helpful when you're beginning your weight loss journey is to reframe a belief system. So we just talked about your lifestyles. Now let's talk about a belief system. Let's talk about something in the mind that will help with the lifestyle. And that is the real secret. Do you know what the real secret agent element thing is for weight loss? There's a secret. And it's interesting because this very secret is the thing many people try to circumvent. They try to not have to deal with this secret. And the secret is time. Time is going to pass no matter what. The next year, 2026, is going to happen. It is going to happen. All 12 months of the year are going to happen. All 365 days of the year are going to happen. All 525,600 minutes are going to happen. They're going to happen. What are you going to have to show for it? What are you going to have to show for all that time that has passed? If it's going to pass anyway, you might as well have something to show for it. You see, I used to think that time was my enemy, not realizing that time is actually my ally. Time is my ally. I always felt like I had to race against time. And so what I would do is look for shortcuts, hacks, tricks. Oh shit, I'm fat. I need to fix this when? Right now. Right now. Why? Well, all sorts of reasons. Sometimes it's because I figured I'd quit. I figured I'd run out of motivation. I didn't believe in myself. But honestly, a lot of it came down to just sheer old, plain old impatience. I didn't want to accept the fact that I had spent years and years and years creating this body that I didn't like, and that it was probably going to take years and years to undo it in a permanent way. And I didn't like that. Now, I forgot and I didn't think it through that it's not like it's bad, better. Like when you gained weight, think of it. It's not like it was suddenly as bad as it was. It was fine. And then it just got a little worse. Then it just got a little worse. Then it just got a little worse. And a little worse. And that's how it works, right? It's slowly and progressively getting just a little bit worse and a little bit worse and a little bit worse. When you do it in reverse, it gets a little bit better, and then 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 a little bit better. And then one day you wake up, you're like, wow, my life is a lot better. I ain't even close to done, but my life is a lot better. That's because time is your ally. Time is your ally. So what do I do though? You're like, all right, Chris, I want to lose weight. What do I need to do? I can't go on a diet because you're saying that's super restrictive. It is. But I need to lose weight. I need to become thin. What do I do? All right, let's talk about some things that you can do, that you need to do. We're just going to distill this down to the basic of basics of basics. I'm not going to go into any of the nuance. I'm not going to explain all the details and the various exceptions. Of course, there are plenty of them. I'm just going to talk about the general principles that apply universally to everybody. So the first way, the way you lose weight, the actual, true, genuine answer is eat less and move more than you did before. Eat less, move more than you did before. That is the actual, genuine, bona fide, for realsies answer. Eat less, move more than you did before. Now, I said earlier, if I'd have just suddenly jumped to the level of movement that I'm doing now in the beginning, that would have been too much. If I had suddenly jumped to the amount of food in the way I eat food now, 7 years later, versus in the beginning, that would have been too much. That would have been too much. This must be done gradually and persistently. You have to consistently increase your movement from wherever you're at the beginning of the journey. Because chances are, if you're big and you need to lose a lot of weight, whatever life you were living, you cannot go back to it. You cannot go back to it. If you look at the amount of movement you were doing in your life, whatever that volume was, you can't go back to that. Now, sure, there's some exceptions where some people actually have a lot of volume of movement because they love to exercise. There are those people. You're not a lot of you, but there's plenty of you, I suppose. But as a percentage base, it's not that many of you. And so you got to work on the food. But the reality is most of you, you're not moving enough, not even remotely close. You're not even half. Most of you at the beginning of your journey, you're maybe moving a quarter of what you ought to be moving to get the results that you're looking for. Maybe. It is not unusual for me to meet a person and we start tracking their steps and find out that they're only taking 1,500 steps a day, every day. Literally, I take more steps in a day than they'll take in a week. I'll take more steps in a week than they'll take in a month. Like, really sit with that. I will walk more steps now in a week than I would have taken in a month of my old life. And that's not a weird week or a weird month. A normal, regular week. I'm not talking about when I'm ultra marathon training. I'm talking about regular life. I just move more, so much more than I did when I was big and battling my weight. And then let's look at the food. I would eat more food in a week of my old life than I would eat in probably 2 weeks. I'd probably cram 2 weeks worth of food into 1 week in my old life. It was not unusual. Not unusual. In fact, so normal that I went and did the math. There was a 2-year stretch of my life where I consumed between 4,000 and 5,000 calories every Wednesday. A default, normal, regular Wednesday. Nothing special, nothing unique, because Wednesday had sort of a routine that I stuck with for a couple of years. Like that was pizza night. And I also got Five Guys for lunch every week. So it was easy to go back and reverse engineer what I was eating. 4,000 to 5,000 calories every Wednesday. That takes me 2 days to eat that much food usually. 2 days. That's 2 days worth of food that I'd have in one day. And that wasn't even a unique day. So how do you lose weight? How do you become a thin person? You become thin by eating less and moving more than you did before forever. Whatever you were doing before, you don't go back to that. And you have to do it gradually. You have to figure out how to eat less food in a way that you're happy with. I love how I eat. I do not sit in my hunger all the time. When I'm hungry, I eat. That's how this ends. Every time I get hungry, I'm going to get to eat. I don't have to sit in my hunger anymore. I don't sit here and have to starve myself. There's nothing I'm not allowed to have. Every food is on limits for me. I get to have everything. I mean, just this week for Thanksgiving, I had I had a pie and monkey bread and a bunch of pasta and rolls. These were foods that in the past I'd have said I'd have to give up, and I can't have them hardly ever. No, I what you might call junky food, but what I'm just going to say food that's higher in calorie density. I eat that stuff regularly now, but I also eat a bunch of other things. And so what you must do is reduce the food intake and increase the movement slowly and persistently over the course of a few years until you get to what will become your new baseline. And of course, your baseline will shift and adjust over time, but you can never go back to what you were doing before. Now, here's a little trick, a little bonus mindset tip that I'm going to give you that's really going to help. Many of you did not seek to gain weight as the objective. That was not the goal. You did not make a plan on how to gain weight. And yet, you did all the behaviors that would encourage your body to become fatter. Let's take the chair to chair to chair lifestyle. I didn't make that the goal. The goal was not to create a chair to chair lifestyle that would result in me becoming fat. The goal was to create a chair to chair lifestyle so that I could be comfortable, so that I could play games, so that I could watch movies, so that I could drive my car, so that I could sit at my desk, so I could go to the conference room, right? There wasn't some part of some big grand master plan. It was just what I did. It was just how I lived. And you know what happened? I gained weight. The goal was never to gain weight, and yet I gained weight the same. Why? Because I did all the behaviors that lead to weight gain for reasons that had nothing to do with weight gain. Even though I would see my weight going up and I knew intellectually that it is due to my lack of movement and something to do with my food, even if I didn't know exactly what it was, it didn't stop me. It didn't cause me to make any changes because I wasn't doing those things to gain weight. The weight gain was an unintentional byproduct of the way I was living my life, of the way I was handling my stress, of the way I was having fun, of the way I would pass the time after work, on the way I would spend my weekends. It was the unintentional byproduct. And so a hack, I guess you could call it a hack. I hate that word, but a little mental trick that you can play with yourself is to find reasons it's to lose weight the same way you gained it. So we do the behaviors that will lead to weight loss, and we do all these behaviors for reasons that have nothing to do with weight loss. I don't run to manage my weight. I don't run for that reason. There's plenty of people that do, but I'm not one of them. I run because I like the mental health benefits that come from it. I mostly run in the woods because I love being out in nature. And when I run, I can see a lot more of the woods. When I travel, I love to run in cities because I can see so much of a city. And it's such a great, cool way to experience a new place. I love collecting new cities to my Strava of places I can go run. I eat the way I eat because it makes me feel better in my body. I sleep better. My workouts, my runs feel more enjoyable. My mind thinks clearer. My body doesn't operate weird. I don't get weird inflammation. Just by cleaning up my diet a little bit. When I say cleaning it up, not like, oh, you got to eat clean whole foods. No, not like that. I just started actually giving my body what it needs. It needed protein. I wouldn't give it enough. It needed fiber. I definitely wasn't giving it enough. It needed a bit more variety in it from a nutritional standpoint. So I'm getting more micronutrients. I'm paying attention to that. I ate way too much sodium for how little I moved and sweated before, right? I have a ton of sodium now, but I sweat it out. Like I sometimes literally take salt tablets and empty them or salt packets and empty them in my hand, and I have to lick them because I get so behind on my electrolytes from the running, right? So sodium is sort of relative depending on what's going on to your body at the time. And so I just get everything in balance for what I need. And so I found reasons to do the things that lead to weight loss and to becoming thin and staying thin. And I do all of them for reasons that have nothing to do with staying thin. That way, even when I don't care about being thin, I still keep doing the behaviors. Just like I never cared about gaining weight, and yet I still kept doing the behaviors that led to the weight gain. And so if you do this long enough, it'll work out in the end. Far too many people, we start a weight loss journey and we need to know when it's going to end. It's like, I need to psychologically prepare myself. How many months is this going to go for? So let me tell you something. I tell this to everybody when we first get started. However long you think it is going to take, it is going to take noticeably longer than that. I have never seen anyone be right. Not once. I've never even heard of a person being right. If you lose weight slowly and sustainably by changing your actual lifestyle habits and routines, however, it is not however long you think it's going to take, you will be wrong. And something I did, I was one of those. I always needed to know how long it was going to take. And I decided I'm not going to worry about that. And I started saying it takes as long as it takes. I'll be done when I'm done. That's the whole thing. The biggest part of weight loss is I just kept quitting because I wasn't done yet. Oh, I should be done. No, I shouldn't. Why should I be done? I should not be done now. If I should be done, I'd be done. So I had to stop saying I should be anything. You just got to stop shooting all over myself. Am I done today? No. Okay, well then keep going. Am I going to be done tomorrow? No. Then keep going. Is there any chance I'm going to be done in the next month? No. Then keep going. Oh, but the scale went up today. What difference does that make? I wasn't going to be done. It changes nothing. Keep going. Oh, I haven't lost any weight in a week. Okay, that means you're not done. Keep going. I'm still going to be losing weight for 3 weeks. Right, keep going. You just keep going until you're done. That's when you quit. That's when you stop. It's when you're done. It's when you're done. If you do that long enough, and you just don't quit until you're done, eventually, you'll make it. But if you need a number, I'll give you one. I have enough of a sample size that I can give you some sort of estimates. 40 pounds a year is pretty solid. 35 to 40 pounds a year in a year is a solid weight loss. Because that for slow and sustainable, yeah. Sure, I know some people that get up to 40, 50, 60 pounds in a year. That happens, but they're the outliers. And some people, it's 10, 15, 20 pounds in a year. That happens too. But if you're getting in that 35 to 40 pounds a year range, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good. And you would have had to have worked on it for a good chunk of the year. That's not like, for 6 months of the year I lost weight. No, that's not usually how it is. That's like working on it for a good portion of the year. Maybe taking a maintenance break here or there. But for the most part, just diligently sticking with it. So I've got, let's see, how many do I have written down here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 questions I'm going to answer. I'm going to tell you the questions I'm going to answer. Should I track calories? How often should I weigh in? Do I need to track macros? Do I need to cut out carbs? And what kind of exercise do I need to do? I'm going to answer these questions here right now on the podcast. But before I do that, I want to let you know that the doors to the Guild for the Black Friday weekend are open. So depending on when you're listening to this podcast, so today is Friday, November 28th at 2:03 p.m. When I'm done with the podcast and I publish it, I'm going to turn everything live, and you can join the Guild if you'd like. The Guild is $70 a month. You get access to 500 plus hours of content. You get access to the entire community. You get access to all the live meetings per week that we do. We do many, many, many meetings per week, anywhere between 3 to 7 meetings in a week, depending on the week. They range from various times so that I can accommodate all different time zones. We have people in Europe. We have people in Australia. We have people in Germany, Scotland, Ireland. We have people in Canada. We have people in Mexico, and then all over the United States. So we have people all over the place. You also get access to our in real life adventures that we do. You'll get access to all of the challenges. You'll get access to hot seat coaching. You'll get access to the searchable community and to the community AI agent that can plug you in with all the courses and materials, find everything you need. And Guild members have the ability to schedule ad hoc one-off coaching sessions with me if you need. Only Guild members can do that. Nobody else can. And you get all that for $70 a month. I assure you, you go anywhere else to get the amount of stuff you're getting for this membership, you are going to pay $200 a month. Okay? This is much more economical than anything else. And to sweeten the pot even more for Black Friday, I'm going to give you 50% off your first month. Now, when you go to the link, the coupon code is already applied, so you don't even have to do anything to make the coupon code apply. So to join the Guild, go to becomingthin.me. That's becomingthin.me. And that'll take you right to the page, and I'd love to have you come be a part of the Guild. When you first join, you'll get an email from me that's just going to give you some instructions. It's going to point you to the a lesson to start with, Weight Loss 101, as well as the link to all the courses. And then you'll also have a special course that'll tell you how to get plugged into the community. Come in there, say hello. We'd love to meet you. Love to walk alongside you as you complete your quest to the body and life of your dreams. If you want to be a part of that, head on over to becomingthin.me. Now let's answer these questions. Number 1, should I track my calories? If you're at day 0, it really depends on the person. Generally speaking, if a person is big, right? We're talking 100, 200 plus pound weight loss journey to get you to Wonderland. I'm going to advise maybe don't start with tracking calories. And instead, I'm going to advise you start spending at least a month or 2 just working on eating when you're hungry, working on reducing the simple carbs in your life, not eliminating, just reducing, working on increasing the movement in your life, getting more steps, maybe going to a gym once or twice a week or getting some form of exercise. And just remember, how are you going to lose weight? You're going to eat less and move more. We can always add calorie counting as we go. And so I would advise a person like, no, just go ahead and start steering the food intake down and go ahead and start steering the movement up for a month or 2. And if you come to the Guild, there'll be plenty of content to help you learn about your hunger. I have a whole section in there all dedicated to hunger and teaching everything you need to know about it. You can do a hunger study. If you want to actually do a hunger study and you're not a member of the Guild, you can go to becomingthin.com and you can download my free hunger study guide that will teach you how to study your hunger and you can learn a bit more about it. But let's say you're not that day 0 beginner person. Maybe you've already got a little traction. You've tried something. It might make sense to track calories. Now, there's nothing wrong if any of you just decide you want to track calories. But if you find that tracking calories, you let it get in your head and then you're like, no, this is too restrictive. Calorie counting isn't the problem. Your ego is the problem. Your mind is the problem, not the calorie counting. You're bringing the wrong mentality to it. You need to go get your mind right. You need to go get your mentality in the right place. I can help you with that in the Guild. And then you start tracking calories. There's nothing wrong with tracking calories. If you're doing it right with the right mindset, the way you would say it is tracking calories gave me freedom. It gave me freedom to eat anything and everything I want. I can't have however much I want whenever I want, but there's nothing that's off limits anymore. Tracking calories should be very freeing unless the thing you're looking for is to have limitless amounts of food. You know, Weight Watchers conditioned a lot of us to believe that there's free food that you can have as much of as you want. No, you can't. Sorry, you can't. You can't solve your problems with food. You're going to have to stop using food as a drug. So should you track your calories? It's not so much should, it's can you. So can you track your calories? Yes. If you're tracking your calories and it's getting in your head, you need to go work on your head space. If you're tracking calories and it's not messing with your head, keep going, right? You're going to adapt it. Nobody's going to track calories indefinitely. In fact, I teach people how to use calorie tracking. It's just a tool. It's just one of many tools. And I don't want you to be doing it all the time. I didn't track calories the whole time, but I want you to have caloric awareness. And when you get to the maintenance side, because I have a maintenance program as well, I actually push people to get off of calorie tracking. If a person is maintaining their weight and like, yeah, I've kept my weight off for 10 years and it's because I tracked my calories, I'm like, you're doing it wrong. Or I don't know, maybe you like doing it. But for me, I want you to get to the body and life of your dreams. And the body and life of my dreams does not involve me tracking calories forever all the time, right? That's just not the life of my dreams. That doesn't sound awesome. I don't mind tracking them sometimes, but not like that. The next question, how often should I weigh in? There is no one universal right answer. And so again, it's not how often should I weigh in, it's how often can I weigh in. You can weigh in as often as you want. But the thing is, it's just like the calorie tracking. If it's messing with your head, you might need to weigh in a little bit less. Some people, what they do is they get on the scale hoping that it goes down. I'm like, yeah, it went down. I'm so motivated. Let's have a great day. And then they go have a great day. Then the scale doesn't go down that next day or it goes up because bodies be weird. And they're like, no, I've worked so hard. This isn't fair. I didn't get my reward. Why even try? I restricted so much and the scale didn't go down. I should. There's that should word again. Man, we're always shoulding on ourselves. I should have lost more weight. It's like, And then they go off and they struggle that day. Why? Because they're letting the scale dictate their mood. They're letting the scale dictate their level of commitment to themselves. They're letting the scale dictate their levels of motivation and willingness to do things. Like that, that's not going to work. You can't let the scale dictate your mood in any direction, not positive or negative. It needs to be more apathetic, more neutral. It's just a data point, right? And so But that aside, I think a once a week weigh-in is like sort of that ideal when you're on the journey. Weigh-in, you have your dedicated weigh-in day and you sort of like ritualize it and you have like get ready the night before and just like, all right, I'm going to weigh in and see what I look like. Like I think there's a lot of value in that, but at a minimum, I think everybody should weigh in at least once a month. I don't care what your feelings are. I don't care if you're like, no, it's going to trigger me. Good, get triggered. Some of you, the problem is you're not letting yourself get triggered. The triggered is going to give you a feeling, and that means you need to do something about it. You don't run away from the trigger, not indefinitely. And so at least once a month, you got to get on the scale. Because if you're going the wrong direction 2 months in a row, you need to know that. You need to know that. You need to have something go, hey, what you're doing is not working objectively. You are objectively going the wrong direction. That means objectively, your strategy is going the wrong direction. And a change needs to be made. Now, what change will you make? I don't know. So, how often should you weigh in? Weekly being the ideal, if you can, without it messing with your head, once a month at a minimum. Next question. Do I need to track macros? No. 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 Most people don't need to track macros. Here's how you know if you need to track macros. You can tell me clearly without looking it up online or talking to ChatGPT. You can just tell me what you would do with the information. You can tell me why. Unless you have a clearly understood reason to track macros, you don't need to track macros. You don't need to. I did not track macros once when losing weight. I mean, I tracked protein, but when people say tracking macros, usually what they mean is tracking carbs, fats, and protein. Carbs, fats, and protein. And they're making sure if it fits your macros. That is just taking calorie tracking and making it harder. It's a more advanced form of tracking. Is there anything wrong with doing a more advanced form of tracking? No. The problem is some of y'all can't even do the basic form of tracking calories, which is just looking at your calories, and that's it. So if you could get your calories under control, you wouldn't need to worry about it. Right? Most of you, if you just get your calories and your protein and your fiber under control, you're not going to need to worry about anything else. Most of you, that is going to be enough to get it done if you can manage those. But if you can manage the basics and if you can come up with a good reason for why you ought to track your fats and your carbs, go for it. Go for it. But you need a reason. It is not going to work magically, and it is in fact harder than just tracking calories and protein and fiber. It's much easier just to track those things. Starting with calories, getting calories under control, then layering in protein, then layering in fiber. Next one, do I need to cut out carbs? No, you do not need to cut out carbs. In fact, I think you need to keep carbs in your life. Carbs are great energy for the body, gives you good energy levels that you can use. What you do need to do, however, is be mindful of your simple carbs. Many people, if we look to the way we were eating before we decided to work on things and we had our oh shit moment, we were consuming large amounts of simple carbohydrates, which are just rocket fuel to the body. And when you're taking in this rocket fuel and you're not moving enough, that's a recipe for weight gain. It's a recipe for weight gain. So you don't need to cut out carbs. You need to have some. My advice is increase the simple carbs, which is just basically saying get more fiber in your life and eat plenty of protein. And you will find that there's not a ton of room for simple carbs. But look, I had chocolate all the time, lost weight. I had chips all the time, lost weight. I have the chocolate and chips regularly and I maintain my weight just fine. Right. And remember, I spent the majority of my life as a fat person. It's not because I won the genetic lottery. I just make sure the calories match and I don't have to sit there and track it. I'm just aware. I just know a slice of pizza, average pizza is like 250 calories. I just know that. So I don't need to track it. I'm just like, all right, if I'm having 2 slices of pizza, it's about 500 calories in pizza. My dinner is typically about 600 to 800 calories. So if I have 2 slices of pizza, I've got about 300 calories left. I can have 3 slices of pizza and that'll for the most part fit in the calories of my dinner. Is 3 slices of pizza going to keep me full? Fuck no, it's not. So I'm not going to eat pizza because if I have to eat enough pizza to be full, I'm going to have to eat way more calories than I normally do. And I'm just aware that pizza has a lot of carbs and a lot of fat and usually not a lot of protein. And usually 0 fiber is a part of it. So you don't need to cut out carbs, but you do need to reduce your simple carbs, getting more complex carbs into your life. And the last question, what kind of exercise do I need to do? The best form of exercise is the one you'll actually do and keep doing. So there it is. You do need to exercise. Like exercise, the importance of it is just too great. It's too great to be understated. You need to exercise. But what's the right optimal form? Look, let's say there's a perfect optimal way to exercise. There isn't, but let's just say there is. But you hate it, so you won't do it. But there's this other version of exercise that's 50% as effective that you actually like and you would actually keep doing. Then you should do that one because you'll actually do it. 50% of a 50% workout is still better than 100%ing no workout. So make sure that you're doing something. Whatever exercise you'll do, go do that one. Any movement you want. Doesn't matter what it is. Just go out and challenge and move your body. And that is going to help you on your journey. All right, we're going to wrap up here. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you want to join the guild, becomingthin.me. You get 50% off your first month of the guild. Coupon code is auto-applied at checkout. I'd love to have you come be a member of the Guild of Champions, where you can get, honestly, some of the best support you've ever had on this weight loss journey. And it's going to be unlike any program you've probably ever joined. There are some other programs like out there that are like it, but not a lot. I've really tried to make the program that I wished I had when I was on my journey, that provided the kind of community support and educational support that I wished I had on my journey. And the beauty is you're going to have access to so much information and so many great people 24/7. You know what that's like, right? You know, you're like, it's 9 o'clock at night, you're about to lose your mind and you're trying to hold it together. What if you had a community you could tap into at 9 o'clock at night to get support? Yeah, that's what I gave you. You have that. Oh, what if you need support group meetings? You know, last week I did a support group meeting for just people that are over 300 pounds. I got support group meetings coming up for emotional eating. We help you work on your life. Earlier in the summer, we did a strategic life audit where we help people look at their entire life. I have advanced mindset courses. So I've got one in there. It's called NeuroShift. I almost never talk about it here on the podcast, but NeuroShift is my advanced and intermediate mindset course. And it's we're wrapping up the program. We've been doing it live. It's all year. We started January 1. We're coming near to the end of the year. And all of that's available to you. As well as you have the entire guild library to learn about weight management, all searchable. And I have an AI agent tied into it that can read the transcripts of everything. And so if you ask it questions, it can steer you in the right direction. So if you're like, I'm struggling with this and I really could use some lessons that are going to help me know what I need to do to overcome XYZ thing. And it'll give you it'll point you in the right direction of where to go, as well as you have the entire community. All available on your phone, all available on your computer, 24/7 access to a community and information to keep your mind focused and actually make it to the end of the journey. That's the big thing I want you to know. I'm not trying to help you get there faster. I'm trying to help you actually make it. That's what I'm interested in you doing. Most of you have quit and abandoned your weight loss dreams long before you ever made it to the body of your dreams. Long before that. Most of you have failed so much that you're not even willing to admit to yourself that you want to weigh a certain weight that you actually know you want. There's a certain size that you actually want, but you're no longer willing to let yourself admit that you want it. I want to help you actually get there. I don't know how long it'll take. I actually expect that it'll take a while. Most people come to the guild and they're in there for 2 or 3 years. That's very normal. And so that's why the guild costs what it costs. I needed to keep it economical. And sometimes people are like, Chris, $70 is too much. I'm like, bullshit. Bullshit. You're going to save that money in food. Just in food. You can't bullshit a bullshitter. I know how much money I used to spend on food. Remember what I said earlier? 5,000 calories in a day, which is double what I eat in a day now. Literally, I was eating double the amount. So yeah, you can afford it. I promise. Unless you just aren't going to make changes, well, sure, you might not be able to afford it then, but you should save it in food costs alone over the course of a month. It's $70 a month, and you get $35 off your first month of the guild. Cancel anytime, no contracts, you're not locked in. All right, have a great day, everybody. I'm so glad to see you here. Just remember, you can always get up. No matter how many times you fall down, no matter how many times you slip up, there is no limit on the amount of times you can get up and keep going. And that's the important thing to remember. Get back up one more time than you fall down. Expect to fall down. I expect you to fall down. You should expect you to fall down. You've always fallen down in the past. The problem wasn't the falling down. The problem is when you fell down, you quit. You went to the next thing, but you don't got to do that anymore. You can get back up, knock the dust off, keep going. and go get the body and life of your dreams because you deserve it. All right. I'll see you next week on the Becoming Thin podcast. Have a great week, champion.